All right, I'll write a 5,000-word story in English. Inspired by the prompt, HOA, Karen built 36 homes on my land, so I locked the gate and served everyone eviction papers. The story will be divided into 5 paragraphs, each approximately 1,000 words, creating a dramatic, engaging narrative with suspense, conflict, and resolution. The story will be a fictional account based on your concept, written in a natural and relatable tone. Here we go. Paragraph 1, The Shocking Discovery, approx. 1,000 words. My name is Zayn Malik, and I was living a quiet life in a small town when I stumbled upon a bombshell that turned my world upside down. I had inherited a 50-acre plot of land near Islamabad from my late grandmother, a piece of property I'd never even visited. She passed away a year ago, and her lawyer informed me that the land was now mine. I figured I'd either sell it or maybe build a small farmhouse someday. But when I finally drove out to see it, I couldn't believe my eyes. My land wasn't empty, it was a full-blown housing society. 36 houses, a community center, and a fancy gatehouse stood proudly under a sign that read Green Valley HOA. Leading this operation was Karen Sheik, a loud, self-assured woman who seemed to rule the place like her personal kingdom. I dug into the paperwork and discovered the unthinkable. Karen, a local real estate agent with a reputation for bending rules, had built this entire society on my land without my permission. She'd sold homes to 36 families, pocketed millions, and acted like she owned the place. When I confronted her, she laughed me off, calling me a nobody trying to scam her residents. She even had her gatehouse guard escort me out like I was some trespasser. Her confidence made me second-guess myself for a moment, but my lawyer, Asad, confirmed it was a clear case of land encroachment. That land was my grandmother's legacy, and I wasn't about to let it go. I decided I'd fight to reclaim what was mine, no matter what it took. I started by contacting the local authorities, but they were no help. Karen had influence in the area, and I suspected she'd greased a few palms. Frustrated, I called my friend Farhan, a contractor who knew a thing or two about property disputes. He gave me a bold idea: lock the main gate to the society and serve eviction notices to everyone. It was drastic, but I was out of options. The next morning, Farhan and his crew helped me install a massive heavy-duty padlock on the gate. No one could get in or out. I printed out 36 eviction notices, each stating that the land was mine and giving the residents 30 days to vacate. As I slipped the notices into mailboxes, I knew this was just the beginning of a war with Kay. The moment the residents realized the gate was locked, chaos erupted. People couldn't leave for work, school buses were stuck outside, and the entire society was in an uproar. Karen, standing on her balcony with a megaphone, screamed that I was a criminal and a land mafia thug trying to steal their homes. She rallied the residents, claiming they'd legally bought their properties and that I was a fraud. But I was prepared. My notices included copies of my ownership documents, and I'd brought Asad along to back me up. Karen called an emergency community meeting that evening, and I decided to attend, ready to face the fire. The meeting was held in the community center, packed with about 50 angry residents. Karen took the stage, painting me as the villain. "This Zayn Malik wants to make us homeless," she declared, pointing at me like I was a movie villain. I stood up, holding my documents, and said, "Karen, you built these houses on my land without my consent. You sold homes you had no right to sell. This is my property, and I'm taking it back." The room exploded with shouts. Some residents cursed me, while others started questioning Karen. Asad presented my land records, proving my ownership beyond doubt. I told the residents I didn't want to hurt them, but I had to protect what was mine. Karen scoffed, saying she'd take me to court, and I welcomed the challenge. After the meeting, a few residents approached me privately. They were furious with Karen, revealing she'd charged them exorbitant prices for their homes and promised them legal ownership. They felt betrayed, and I saw an opportunity to turn the tide. I promised to work with them if they helped me expose Karen's fraud. The locked gate had already caused enough disruption to get everyone's attention, and I could see Karen's grip on the community starting to slip. The court case was a grueling battle. Karen hired a top-tier lawyer who threw every trick in the book at us, claiming my documents were outdated, arguing the residents' emotional damages, and even questioning the land's registry. But Assad was relentless, countering every argument with solid evidence. During one hearing, Karen broke down in tears, telling the judge I was heartlessly displacing 36 families. The judge looked at me and asked if I had a solution. I said I was open to negotiating with the residents, but Karen needed to face consequences for her fraud. The judge seemed to appreciate my willingness to compromise, but he reserved his ruling. Outside the courtroom, Karen waged a PR war. She got a local news channel to paint me as a greedy landowner, and thus her Save Green Valley started trending on social media. I fought back by posting a detailed thread on X, sharing my documents and exposing Karen's scam. The thread went viral and public opinion began shifting in my favor. People on X called Karen out, and some residents even started sharing their own stories of her shady dealings. The pressure was mounting on her, and I could tell she was rattled. I kept talking to the residents, offering them a deal. If they supported me against Karen, I'd consider letting them stay on the land legally by purchasing plots at a fair price. Several families agreed, providing statements that detailed how Karen had misled them. This was a game changer. Karen's own community was turning against her, and my case was getting stronger by the day. After months of legal battles, the court ruled in my favor. The land was mine, and Karen's construction was deemed illegal. The judge ordered her to refund the residents and pay penalties for her fraud. I could have evicted everyone, but I didn't want to punish the families who'd been duped. Instead, I proposed a new plan. I'd develop a legal housing society on the land and offer the current residents first dibs on buying plots at a discounted rate. Most of them were thrilled, and we worked out agreements that let them stay. Karen, however, didn't go quietly. She tried to rally the remaining residents against me, but her credibility was shot. The refunds she was forced to pay left her financially crippled, and she eventually left town. I reopened the gate, and with Farhan's help, I started rebuilding the society, this time legally. The residents who stayed became my allies, and together we turned Green Valley into a proper, registered community. With the legal mess behind me, I focused on making Green Valley a place everyone could be proud of. I hired a team to ensure all houses met building codes, and I worked with the residents to create a fair HOA, this time one that actually served the community. I kept my promise to my grandmother, turning her land into something meaningful. The experience taught me about resilience, justice, and the importance of standing up for what's right. Looking back, locking the gate was a risky move, but it shook things up enough to expose Karen's scam. The residents who once saw me as the enemy now invited me to their barbecues, and Green Valley became a symbol of redemption. As for me, I found a new purpose, not just as a landowner, but as someone who could build something lasting.